Hello, friends. Well, I am here today with a very unique concept in Vedic astrology known as Bhavat Bhavam. To understand this concept, I'm taking you further in this particular presentation and explain you how this concept works. So let us get on to the next slide. See, if you wish to contact me for consultation, I've given you some information over here. You may contact me and I shall be more than glad to help you out. Now, Bhavat Bhavam, as you can read, literally means house of the house. It's a very useful concept in astrology, as you can read for yourself. It is, when you surgically, very deeply study a house and every aspect thereon associated with it. It is like redrawing the horoscope as the first house, which means that if you want to know something about fourth house, you consider the fourth house as the lagna, or the fifth house, you take the fifth house as the lagna. Similarly, we will have to see how this concept actually works. See, as you can see in this concept, so what is the use of this house of the house, which is Bhavat Bhavam? I'll give you an example over here. The example I've stated over here. The fifth house is the house of higher education. It's the house of children. It's house about divine intelligence. It's creativity. It's the center state. It is also the house of romance, love affairs. Fine. Now, to study the fifth house, count from the fifth house 5, which means you will count 5 as the number 1, 6 as number 2, and so on. So you will arrive at ninth house as the fifth from the fifth. Now, what does a house 9 represents? It's creativity of creativity. So to get a complete picture of the result possible from the fifth, we need to see the power of the fifth or the ninth house. If your ninth house is powerful, obviously you will derive benefit from the fifth house. All aspects of the personality are interlinked over here, and some more than other. The position of the ninth house will add more power to fulfilling the potential of the fifth house. Now, I'm sure you must have been a little confused regarding what I just said. So in the next slide, let me explain to you how it works. Now, look at this slide. We were talking about the fifth house. It's over here, right? Now, from the fifth, I have marked it in the figures in red color. Suppose fifth is the first house. So from there you have to count fifth from the fifth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we derive at house number 9 in your D1 chart or Lagna chart. Fine. If it was, we want to study the third house. So the third from the third. So 1, 2, 3. To know something about the third house, we must study the fifth house as well. If you want to know something about the Lagna itself, so from Lagna, 1 from 1 would be the Lagna itself. If you want to know something about the seventh house, so count 7 from the 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You will derive at Lagna. That means that if you want to know something about partnership, spouse, marriage, look at your Lagna also. Let's move to the next slide. So I just to make you understand. Now, in the Bhava principle or uh, Bhavam principle, let us find out the house of the house for every house of the chart. Now, look at the first. The first house counted from the first is going to be the first itself. Second house, the second house count from the second would be third, because if you go to the second house, second from second is the third house. Third house is third from the third is fifth. Fourth, the fourth from the fourth is seventh. The fifth from the fifth is nine. Sixth, the sixth from the sixth would be 11. Seventh from the seventh would be your Lagna, that is your first house. Eighth from the eighth would be your third house. Ninth from the ninth is going to be your fifth house. That is the reason why we also say that if you're looking for a childbirth, your ninth house also has to be powerful. Okay. Now, then 10th from the 10th is your seventh house. So we always talk about business in seventh house also, always. 11th from the 11th is your ninth house. So it is the fortune and income both together. 12th from the 12th is your 11th house. That is why 11th house is sometimes even called as Dusthana house itself. Let's go further and see what is in store for us over here. Now, you will see in this concept, only 6 bhavas or 6 houses get activated, or they come under the concept of Bhavat Bhavam. Bhavat Bhavam. Okay. The house number 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. Why? Why? What is the reason? See, the first from the first is going to be first. If you want to study second, so second from the second is third. If you want to study third, third from the third is fifth. If you want to study fifth, so fifth from the fifth is ninth. Now fourth from the fourth is seventh. Fourth from the fourth is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now seventh from the seventh is going to be the Lagna. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Eighth house. Now 8 from the 8th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The third house again. Ninth from the ninth. Okay, is going to be the fifth house. 11th from the 11th is going to be the ninth house. 12th from the 12th is going to be the 11th house. So which are the houses which will not come into this concept is house number 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And again 12. These are the houses that will not become a Bhavat Bhavam for any chart. Fine. Let's go to the next slide now. You can, as you can read over here, you can see over here that the first house indicates your personality, right? But it also is the Bhavat Bhavam of the 7th house. We have to understand this also. It also indicates the partner in a very deeper way. Thus, it's very important, or it's the importance of your partnership, spouse, and the ideas that you are wedded to. These are very completely linked to your own personality. So you always get attracted to a person because it is not the physical, it's even on the mental level, soul level that you connect with the person. It is a misconception, in fact, that the 7th house represents just the husband or wife. It is basically your own mirror. It is the idea. It is the person. The coordination, the alliance, the partnership, a contract with the person is the 7th house. So when you look deeper spiritually also, or emotionally, or even psychologically, you will get all the valuable information when you analyze the seventh bhav and the chart. Now, similarly, we will talk about the third, because second does not come. So third, Bhavat Bhavam. See, the third house always shows you the siblings, that is your younger sister or brother, because the elder is always associated with the 11th house. It talks about your neighborhood, it talks about your trades, communication, boldness, or you can say courage, confidence. All these are seen by the third house. But it is a Bhavat Bhavam of the second house, because second from the second is third. And it is even the Bhavat Bhavam of the eighth house too, which is a house of transformation. Okay, it adds to your resources, treasures, and your share in the family asset. So when you study the third house, these are the answers that you will get. It naturally shows your extended family and cousins too. Finally, it shows you your courage and confidence in matter of, like, related to transformation in life because of the eighth house. It is the eighth from the eighth house, Bhavat Bhavam. The secret ways that you benefit from the processes operating even at the moment of physical death. So this is what third house reveals in the concept of Bhavat Bhavama. If you look at the fifth house, and if you want to study the fifth house in a deeper way, fifth house is what? Fifth house is your creativity, divine inspiration, intelligence, but it is also the Bhavat Bhavam of the third, because third from the third is fifth. And even the ninth house, ninth from the ninth is your fifth house. The third house is the house of trade, confidence, boldness, and intelligence and communication, Parakrama house. And so the fifth shows the deep confidence which one develops when one practices boldness as a matter of routine. The third house is the house of practical knowledge also, which you use in your daily life. When you do practice regularly, you develop an intelligence, confidence in yourself. Ninth house now is your ancestors, your peer group, your patrons, your paternal figure, the guru, the mentor, the preacher. Now, these elders are the foundation of your life. And in one way or the other, fifth house either will add more power to their influence, or you or allow you to be the foundation to others. So either the ninth house will say there is some resources available for you, or you yourself becomes a resource for others. Children are the function also of the fifth house. We should also consider this as well. Now, coming to the next slide, you will see we are talking over here about the seventh house in a deeper way. Now, seventh house indicates partner, balance. It is the Bhavat Bhavam of the fourth house, which indicates security, comfort, emotion, etc. See how beautiful it is. It is also linked to the 10th house. Strong planets here will allow you to experience the aspect of your life indicated by the 4th and the 10th house. 10th house is of a profession. In Indian tradition, the husband or wife is chosen from the same tradition or the culture which is depicted from the 4th house. So the seventh lord in the fourth normally talks about arranged marriage. A better synergy between these two houses will naturally contribute to the better emotional stability and environment at home. Now, the 10th house is basically the position in the society that you enjoy by your own efforts. If your business or your partnership and your personal life is doing well, obviously it will directly contribute to your position in the society. So when you study the seventh house, it talks about the fourth house. It also talks about the 10th house. Let's go to the next slide. Now, let's talk about the ninth house. Now, what is the ninth house all about? The ninth house is the Bhavat Bhavam for the fifth and the 11th house, right? Because fifth from the fifth is 9, 11th from the 11th is 9. The auspicious of ninth is the creativity of the creativity from the fifth house. Similarly, the ninth house adds to the luck, fortune, and the sources of gain represented by 11th house. Ninth house is all your seniors, the ones who have been there for you, the paternal figures, the peer, the teacher, the ancestors, and those things which helped you to build your foundation in your life, of course. If these are strong in your chart, naturally they will strengthen your 11th house too, the 11th from the 11th. Now coming to the 11th itself. See, 11th house is all the sources of gain, luck, like-minded people or group we cultivate, etc. and is the Bhavat Bhavam for the 6th and the 12th house. Now, you know, 6th is what? 6th represents dissolution of debts, enemies, disease, servitude, losses. Thus, this adds to your gain. And counted from 12th also means it is a dissolution of dissolution. So strong planets placed in the 11th counter the negative effects of the 6th and the 12th house. So if there are good planets in your 11th house, it takes care of the 6th and the 12th house, which are the two houses known as the Dusthana houses. So it is two of the three Dusthana houses. Hence, you'll see we must consider 11th house very important in analyzing the horoscopes. A good benefic like Jupiter placed here elevates or enhances the quality of your horoscope, granting protection from several things in life. So friends, I wish to thank you for listening to the video, and if you have liked this video, do share this video with your peer group, friends, your relatives, your colleagues. And if you have still not subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe, like this video, and I am always happy to receive comments from you. Thank you so much. God bless you.